The Atlantic slave trade started off by the Europeans. When they came to the New World, they had no workers, so they needed slaves. In the 15th century, Europeans were looking to trade with Asia for spices. When Christopher Columbus was looking for the spice route, he found the New World. Boats from America went to Africa to give goods to the trade for slaves. One of the goods were guns, sugar, spices, tobacco, rum, and coffee. The Americans would also get goods from Europe since the soil and climate was bad to grow their own. The slave trade started to end when Olaudah Equiano wrote a book about being a slave. The book influenced people to stop slavery. Next, there was a slave revolt in Haiti. Haiti was the first to end slavery. Eventually, slaves would work for free, so there were no economic benefits. If they aren't being paid, the slave trade ended.
About 15 million Africans were forced into slavery. They were taken from their homes.
They would work in houses or plantations. Portugal was the first European nation to take part in the slave trade. The Dutch, French, Spanish, and British began soon after. The European nations began to colonize Africa in 1870. The Europeans sent armies to invade. Since the slave trade was over, they mostly did it to improve their economy. They needed a place to send their citizens that were in poverty, unemployed, or homeless. They sent these people to colonize Africa.
Europe colonizing Africa caused a few problems. Many Africans were killed.
European power interrupted the way government would work in Africa. Africa became very disorganized.
Before the slaves got independence, they had nationalism. Most black African nations got their independence in the 1950s to the 1960s, beginning with Ghana. In 1957, other countries soon followed and got their independence also. The most significant change that colonialism brought was Christianity. Less than 5% of Africa was Christians, but after colonialism, 50% became. Other changes were minor because of the different practices of colonialism around Africa.